Bring me my earrings off of your dresser. Y'all, I, I just I hit the live button and don't have no earrings in my ear, like zero. Okay. Thank you to my amazing son. Thank you so much. I love you. Appreciate you.
Make sure y'all like it, please.
Oh, thank you. Did y'all hear my son? Did y'all hear my amazing son? He's rooting for his mama. Good evening. Happy, 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 happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy, 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 happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy, 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 happy. Wicked, 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 wicked. Happy Monday. Hey, happy Monday. Okay, that's just me. Happy Monday, everybody. I pray that you all are well. I pray that your day went well. I pray that you smiled. I pray that you smiled more than you frowned. I pray that you laughed, right? More than you cried. I pray that you made the most of your day. I pray that you received some amazing news that almost made you fall out your chair, right? I pray that this week for you is so amazing that you just sit in awe of God, like, really, me? Like, God, you really did this for me? I pray that your posture this week is a posture of gratitude, a posture of God, I thank you, a posture of no matter what it looks like, I'm so grateful for my life. I'm so grateful for who I am. I pray that you are so full of joy that regardless of the negativity that tries to creep in into your life and creep in through somebody's conversation or creep in while you're out and somebody tries to be negative, that you don't allow anyone to steal your joy, to steal your peace, to steal your happiness. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. JaNee Mobley. I'm affectionately known as Dr. JaNee, and I help. Good evening, good morning, good night, good day, whatever time it is in your time zone. I'm so, so grateful that you are here with me. I pray that your day went well. I pray that all is well with you and your family. And even if it's not as great as you desire for it to be, my prayer is that your heart and your posture is a spirit of gratitude. I'll note this, and I'm gonna tell y'all who I am in a minute. Note this, that the quickest way, oh, okay, great. The quickest way to shift your, let's say that somebody comes around your negative, around you negative, you're frustrated, you're aggravated. One of the things that I always shift into is I really focus on shifting into is a position of gratitude. It is a position from gratitude. Hey, from Jamaica. If you all haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I am Dr. JaNee Mobley. I'm affectionately known as Dr. JaNee, and I help women turn their passion, their purpose, their God-given talent into a profitable business. Y'all, that was my phone if y'all heard that. While teaching them to overcome mindsets that prevent profit, progress, and prosperity. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every Monday, I come to you all live for Transformational Mondays. And Transformational Mondays is based off of the scripture to be ye transformed. Don't be conformed. Don't do what the world is doing, right? Instead of doing what the world does, be transformed. Be changed by the renewing, by the renovation of your mind. So each week I come to you all sharing with you all tips to shift your mindset, and ultimately for those of you all who are in business, shifting your mindset as it pertains to how you approach your business, and for for those of you all who are aspiring entrepreneurs how you start your business. If you haven't already, I want you all to make sure, I want to know who's with me on tonight. For those of you all who are entrepreneurs, I want you to put a one in the chat. If you are currently, if you own a business, put a one in the chat. If you desire to start a business, you have an idea, or you just don't know where to start, put a two in the chat. So one in the chat if you are a current entrepreneur, number two in the chat. I want you to drop a two in the chat if you desire to start your business, or you have an idea, or you just don't know where to start, right? So put that in the chat and share with me where you all are hailing from. I know someone said they're from India, somebody else said Jamaica. We're going to go ahead and get started. So tonight I want to give you all a warning. I don't care if you're currently in business. I don't care if you have an idea and you just don't know where to start, right? How many of you all have an idea? You have a thought process about maybe an idea, something that you want to do to start a business, but you don't know where to start. Put it in the chat, right? So type of me in the chat if that's you. So I want to give you all a warning, and this is something that I have observed. I've been around current seasoned entrepreneurs, and I've been around aspiring entrepreneurs, and I've noticed some commonalities and I've noticed some differences. But tonight I want to talk to you all about the warnings, the things that I have noticed that have stopped aspiring entrepreneurs or those who desire to start a business from even getting started, right? These are individuals who have an idea, who have and even great ideas. And I'm talking about transformative ideas. I'm talking about, I've actually sat at a table of women who have shared some amazing ideas. If you have a great idea, I'm talking to you, and you haven't moved on it. Oh, I'm talking to you on tonight, but I'm going to help you, right? It was me and a group of women about maybe two, this year will make 2 years ago. I went to a mastermind that was spearheaded by a millionaire. So we had a millionaire, we had a billionaire, right? And we had some amazing people in the room, right? It was the greatest investment that I made. But I noticed something amongst the women around the table. And guess what? I was guilty of the same thing. They had the idea, they were passionate about the idea. And here's the thing, they wanted to serve people, they wanted to provide solutions for individuals in their industry and marketplace. But they were allowing certain mindsets to stop them from pushing the button and moving forward, right? They were hungry for it, they were thirsty for it. God is amazing, right? Thank God for Jesus. Oh gosh, thank God for don't even get me started on that, because Sunday scripture, just a sidebar. Okay. I really am so grateful to Jesus Christ. And I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but there was a scripture, and if y'all stay with me, I'll have to share it with you all before we close out, that just really tugged at my heart on Sunday, that just made me appreciate God on such a greater level, on so many levels. So and just stay tuned. Okay, so as we were going around the room, I noticed that there were some commonalities in the mindsets of the women at the table that were stopping them, right? We were literally sitting with a billionaire. I mean, a billionaire with a B. We were sitting with a millionaire that were literally giving us tips and strategies on how to move the needle to start our businesses. Some people actually had businesses, but there were certain things that were stopping many of these women from moving forward that I could definitely identify. So, number one warning sign that I want you to be aware of when you're talking about implementing your idea, one of the things that were stopping a lot of these aspiring entrepreneurs is, let me get my phone, is they allowed fear, right? They folded under fear. I'm going to say that again. They folded under fear. They had the idea. And here's the thing, the ideas were amazing, transformative, but they allowed fear to creep in and to settle. And they folded under fear, meaning that they allowed fear to take them over. They allowed fear to consume them more than the transformative idea that God gave them. They allowed fear to speak louder to them than the fact that they had something that was transformational that many people would invest and pay for. They allowed fear to not to prevent them from seeing themselves and their product and or service as being the solution to somebody's problem. They folded under fear. That was the biggest thing. One of the things, and I observed that I was sitting at the table, and let me tell y'all, I was guilty of the same thing, right? When I initially started my business, I was like many, very gung-ho, excited about my business, but I had a fear of rejection. I was afraid of people telling me no. Right? I was afraid of people telling me that they weren't interested. I was afraid that people would not be interested. Initially when I started my business, I folded under fear. See, you can have a phenomenal product, you can have a phenomenal service, but if you fold under fear, people will never know anything about it. Because what will happen is fear will prevent you from taking the first step to move forward. Fear will stop you from marketing. Fear will stop you from presenting and sharing your idea, your product, or your service with the very people who need it and the people who are searching for it. Do you realize that? The moment that you allow yourself to fold under fear and allow fear to stop you, is the moment that you prevent someone else from getting the transformation that they so need and they so desire. It is. That lets you know. You know it's live. You just wanted me to say something to you. It's all right. Right? One of the things that I say a lot, because this was the revelation that I had, as entrepreneurs, as creators, you have to see yourself as a solution to somebody's problem. You have to understand that people, whatever it is that you have, right? That people would be willing to pay you well for a solution to the problem that they have that you solve. But if you allow fear to creep in and to settle and to stay there, you'll never take the first step or the next step so that those who need the solution to the problem that you solve have, so that they can get the transformation that they need. That's one thing that I noticed. I'll never forget the facilitator that was mentoring us at the round table, the millionaire. And she was just sharing with us her strategies as to how she was has been able to market so well. So one of her number one strategies is going live, right? And we all know, if you all don't know, going live in video, especially live video, is one of the best ways of reaching your target market. It's a great way of attracting an audience. It's a great way of connecting with people, right? Because it allows people to talk to a person in real time, right? So as she was going around the room and as everybody was asking her questions, even some people who are aspiring entrepreneurs, she was encouraging them or asking them, do you go live? Or if you go live, how often do you go live? And many of the women were just like afraid of hitting the live button. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. And I noticed it was linked to fear. A lot of the times people are afraid of showing their faces on social media, and especially going live, because for some people it's intimidating, right? Because majority of people are seeking perfection. One of the things, and I heard someone say this, that the goal is not perfection, is progress over perfection. Many people want to jump out the gate being perfect. And the reality of it is that if you embrace the fact that you're going to make mistakes, and the positive thing about making mistakes, God forbid that it costs somebody's life. But the positive thing about making mistakes is an opportunity to learn. And when you learn, you position yourself to grow. Many of the most successful people that I have followed have lost everything, right? And I'm not saying that you have to learn by losing everything. But the thing about their experiences is since they lost everything, one, they knew how to absolutely obtain what they had back. And guess what? Not only did I know of one individual who lost it all, and not only did they obtain the money that they made back, they now make more money than they did before. Thank you for subscribing. Now they make more money now than they did before they lost it all. He went from making, what is it, 7 figures. Now he's making 9 figures. And here is the thing. A lot of his conversation is about the mistakes, not the mistakes, but the things that he learned along his journey. See, many of us don't want to fail, but the reality of it is, and I've learned from personal experience, that I've learned more from the things that I didn't do so well, more than I did learn from my victories. See, it's something about things not going so right. It's something about failing. It's something about things not going so well that it doesn't sit well with you, to the point, if you're anything like me, you're working to figure out, okay, how can I be better? How can either I undo this, or how can I prevent the mistake that I made from happening again? That's the beauty of it. So many people fear failure, but failure is just an opportunity for you to learn more and to gain more so that you can become more. People are not just successful by happenstance. What they don't tell you on social media, people who are truly successful, people who have acquired a great level of success, have failed in some area or some areas of their life. But what they did was they allowed themselves to go back and refine and become better. Anytime, I don't care if you have suffered a loss. I don't care if you failed. I don't care what your experience was. Because you're looking at a woman who slept in me and my husband slept in our Infinity M35 while I was almost 6 months pregnant, if not 6 months pregnant, with our first son. And we slept in that vehicle overnight because we were homeless, right? I learned more from that challenging time. And I'm not saying that you got to lose it all nor become homeless to learn, but sometimes it's in those tough times that we become stronger. It's in those tough times that we become better. It's in those challenging times that we realize just how amazing God made us. So don't fold under fear. Stand strong in the sight of fear. Myron Golden said this. Dr. Myron Golden said this. And if you don't follow him, make sure you literally go follow him. An amazing man. And he said this, and this is something that I wish that I would have known growing up, that I tell our 10-year-old. Whenever things, because with our son, sometimes when things get challenging, he has been known to get frustrated. But Myron Golden said this. He said, it's not, whatever you're facing is not more challenging than you are champion. Which means this: regardless of what I face, I'm already victorious over. Regardless of what I encounter, it's no harder for me to figure out, because I have a brain, I have wisdom. God has imparted wisdom in me and the ability to seek out resources to figure whatever it is that's challenging out. So instead of folding under fear, stand in the face of it and overcome it. The scripture tells us that God did not give us fear. So anytime fear comes over me, I recognize that this didn't come from God. And one thing about something coming to me, it's just like if I were to give you something that you didn't want, you would 9 times out of 10, hopefully in wisdom, you would reject it, right? Or you would take it, and even if you want to be nice and you don't want to tell, right? Thank you so much for saying that. Um and what was I going to say? Yeah. So you will reject it. Why? Because you don't want it. But what happens with people with fear is that instead of them rejecting fear and focusing on the one who has the power to help you to overcome the fear, you succumb to the fear. Okay? So, number two. So the first one is, the big warning is that I've noticed amongst aspiring entrepreneurs that just stop them from moving forward and starting their business or building their business, or what makes them stop and start is, number one was they fold under fear. Number two, they overthink their way out of opportunity. They overthink their way out of opportunity. If you all haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Also on Thursday, if you know that you are an entrepreneur who's ready to move your idea into implementation and eliminate every excuse, make sure that you register for the Mindset to Movement Masterclass, right? So number two, excuse me, they overthink themselves out of opportunity. And here's the thing, many people pray for opportunity. And then when it comes, they overthink. How many of you all have ever been guilty about overthinking? Can I tell you one of the root causes or the root problems with overthinking is self-doubt or just doubt? Because here's the thing, when you're sure about something, you won't allow anybody to tell you different from what you know. You won't convince yourself to do something that you know you shouldn't be doing, right? So many people overthink it. You get the idea, and then instead of moving forward with it, many people overthink it. And what happens with overthinking is you don't end up moving forward. So you get an opportunity, but then you overthink yourself out of it. And one of the other reasons why a lot of people end up overthinking is because they're seeking perfection once again. And here's the thing, you don't get good by starting. You don't become great by starting. You become great the more you do a thing. See, when many of you all can attest to this, when you first started driving, I'm sure you were nervous. You know, the mature drivers were literally passing you on the highway, right? I remember, I'm from Miami, so I'm a Miami girl, right? I remember, oh gosh, the first time I had to get on Interstate I-95 and I was headed south. And let me tell y'all, even back then, baby, people were riding in Miami, okay? And it was intimidating seeing these cars just fly by me, right? I mean, the cars were flying by me. And it was intimidating because everybody was going so fast and I was doing the speed limit, right? And it was very uncomfortable. But the more I got behind the wheel, the more my mom put me behind the wheel, the more I drove, the more I started driving long distance, the more I started driving, the more I drove to the store, the more I took the highway, because we had to take the highway a lot of the times. The more I started driving, the more comfortable and confident I became. You don't become great at something by doing it the first time. You got to do it again and again and again. So quit focusing on being perfect. Quit overthinking what you know already. And the reality of it is, thank you for the heart. The reality of it is, many people, here's the thing, many people know their industry that they're going into, yet they overthink it. And a lot of the times, what's deeply rooted in overthinking is self doubt and a lack of confidence. All confidence is, when you look up a definition of confidence, especially biblically, it means to be sure. When you think about being sure, it means to be certain. To be self confident means to be sure in yourself. But let me give y'all a quick tip as believers. My confidence should not be only in me. My confidence is rooted in the one who created me. See, what's different between the Dr. JaNee that you see now and the Dr. JaNee that was some years ago when I initially started my business, I did not have a revelation and an understanding of who created me. The moment I understood who created me is when I became the surest of myself. I didn't have confidence because I didn't know whose I was. I didn't know whose I was. Yeah, I knew I needed to believe in Jesus. Yeah, I believed in Jesus, but I did not know who God truly is and who he was for me at the time. So, and I'll be honest, I'm gonna have an honest moment with y'all, which I try to do. Last week, I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. Was it today is, yes, so Friday I came across an opportunity for a speaking opportunity, and I'll promise y'all, excuse me y'all, let me get some water. We getting over colds around here again. These amazing children go to school and have picked up these germs, and they bring them back here to me and my husband. So our daughter decided, not that she decided, but decided to get the germs. She comes home with a snotty nose. And guess what? I get it. And then my husband gets a cold. But you know what, y'all? Let me tell y'all something. By his stripes, I'm healed. And here's the reality of it. I will take a cold over any other respiratory issue right now. All right. Okay. Back to the thing, right? And I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but going back to this, many aspiring entrepreneurs have an idea, but what stops them is they fold under fear and they overthink themselves out of opportunity. That's where I was. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So I came across an opportunity to apply for a speaking opportunity. And I've applied to speak before, but this application was in greater detail than I had ever seen. Okay. They were asking for stuff that I was just like, and I ain't gonna lie, I got to the second ask and I was just like, okay, God, you're gonna have to help me with this. All of like, I started overthinking it. And then I got intimidated and I had to stop for a minute. And here's the thing, this is what I literally did. I had to remind myself why I was qualified to apply. I began to think about the experience that I bring to the table, the transformation that I bring to the table. I was reminded, God reminded me of who he created me to be. So quit overthinking yourself out of an opportunity. Always see the value that you bring to the table. And lastly, this is the other thing that stops aspiring entrepreneurs, which is a huge one. So I hope you have your pen and pad because let me tell y'all something. This is a big one. Thank you, Coco. Thank you. I'm trying to think, where did I get these from? Did I get these from Lane Bryant? I don't know where I got these from. And with short hair, I love big earrings. Okay, I love earrings anyway. But okay, thank you, Coco. Okay, all right. You know I like your name, right? Okay, so the last thing that really has stopped a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs from moving forward in their idea is that they play it too safe. They play it cautious. They're afraid of investing in themselves. That's what I mean. You have an idea, but many people are afraid of, they play it safe. And let me tell you what I mean. Here's the mindset. One thing that you will always notice about me, everything that I have observed and what makes some people successful and some people unsuccessful, what keeps people in lack while others have abundance, is the positioning of their way of thinking. And when I caught this, it totally shifted the way that I operate and I stand in my purpose. Instead of many, here's the thing, a person in lack, a person who, a person in lack, let me put it like this, a person in lack sees investing in themselves, instead of seeing it as investing in themselves, they see it as an expense. I'm gonna give you an example. Have you ever gone or attended a virtual event, and someone, and this is just a reality, somebody ask you, or not ask, they open up the doors for the opportunity to work with them, or they share their product or your service with them, their product or service with you. And you know, here's the thing, you know that the content and the information that they shared with you over the course of that hour or 2 hours or whatever the presentation is very valuable information. Very valuable. But when it comes down to how much it costs, you push back. And the reason why, I'm not saying this is you, but the reason why majority of people push back on the opportunity of furthering their information, excuse me, is because they see it as an expense rather than an investment. Here's the thing, and let me give you a perspective. When you look at an expense and you look at an investment, the biggest difference is, with an expense, you put your money in, but you don't get the money back. You don't get no return. You don't get no wisdom. You don't get no profit. When you put your money, let's say you go to the restaurant and you pay them for your food. That's an expense. You paid for food, right? You don't get nothing in return. You don't get a profit. You don't get any ideas. You don't get any tips. You don't get nothing. But when you invest, it's like putting a seed in the ground. And I wish I had that video in front of me. It's like putting a seed in the ground. Here is the thing. One thing that we have to be aware of, whenever you make an investment, again, it's like putting a seed in the ground. Here's the thing that many people miss. When you go back to that seed the next day, you don't see any evidence of the seed that you planted. You see nothing but that black soil. Nothing but that black soil. You come back the next day, nothing but the black soil. You come back in 2 weeks, probably nothing but the black soil. It takes time and a process in order for that seed to break and roots to go deep. It takes time for that. See, many people want to take their money and go to like a restaurant. You get your expense. I mean, you take your money, you put it on the counter, you get your food, you walk away because you walk away with food. But that's an expense. People don't realize with an investment has to be nurtured. An investment has to be poured into. Y'all got to see this. This is one of the common things. I have connected myself to millionaires. I've been in a room with, I share with you all, a billionaire. And I don't say that to flaunt. I say that because I see a consistent thing amongst them all. And none of them that I know of all know each other. They all have invested in themselves. They all have taken their money and they realize like people say, I'm going to bet on me. One thing you cannot control is other people. You can't control the weather. You can't control a lot of the circumstances in your life, but you can control the actions that you take. And one thing about investing in yourself is that if you take transformative principles and tips that people give you that are right and righteous and put them into action, you have the capacity to reposition your mindset, your finances, your relationships, your health. But one thing that I understand about entrepreneurship, playing it safe never yields you income. It never allows you to go big in your business. It never allows you to obtain more information that you can then take back and apply to your business. So if you really, really want to take your idea and implement it, you can't fold under fear, right? You can't overthink yourself out of opportunity, and you cannot play it safe. You have to understand that you are your greatest investment. Your greatest investment. Because you have the capacity to yield consistent results. Excuse me, y'all. Consistent results that have the ability to change your whole life. So I hope that this helped you all. If it did, more than anything, make sure you put a comment below. Also, join me for the Mindset to Movement Masterclass. If you would like to learn more, click the link below and visit the website. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel so that anytime that I'm on, you can join me. Until next time, know your worth. Good night, y'all. Bye.